Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Allianz Stadium here, where we have the Sydney Roosters hosting the Manly Sea Eagles from just up the road. I am AMAC in the box, and joining me tonight at this beautiful stadium is Liam Ryan.
Yeah, Mac, it's going to be a huge clash here tonight uh, in Sydney. It's the Roosters taking on the Sea Eagles, and both these sides, they're coming off some interesting games last week. Obviously, the Roosters, they came off a loss last week. They lost to the Dolphins in round 9, 30 points to 18, and yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing loss for them last week, and I'm sure they're ready to bounce back here. But for the Sea Eagles, they got their season back on track with a win over the Titans, 19 points to 18 in a thriller. And this week, they are absolutely going to be out on their feet to try and go back to back here and try and front a late claim to make the top eight.
Yep, as you said, both of these teams, they're still trying desperately to stay in touch with those top eights. Probably helped out by the fact that we are so congested in those middle parts of the table. The Roosters, they're sitting outside the top eight, basically only on their for and against, and a bit of luck here and there. The Sea Eagles, their for and against isn't too bad, so if they can get a win tonight, they will be one step closer to ensuring a finals berth, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. The Seagulls, they looked a lot better last week, and it was good signs last week beating the Titans. So it'll be interesting to see if they can mount a claim to the Roosters, who have been, as you said, a little bit unlucky in the past couple of weeks, but due to some issues. But yeah, it should be an interesting clash nonetheless.
As the Roosters, they continue this run of bad luck with Vice Captain Dolan, from the looks of things, booting it straight over the sideline in an attempt at a 40-20. So an inauspicious start here for the Roosters. Manly are going to have some excellent field position here, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. It's not great work from the Roosters number 6 here, and yeah, it's a little bit more of the same as you said from the Roosters. What we've seen over the course of the season, they've just been struggling. I think a little bit with kicking, and they've just got to get it sorted, really. Yeah, but it's a bit of bad luck, and they'll have to defend well on their line here. It's not an ideal start, that's for sure.
As the Seagulls, they could spread it left. Beck Goodwin filling in at number 11 tonight. There's been a couple of changes with the Sea Eagles team list, and Beck Goodwin, who has been filling in. I'll pause right there because Lennox Prakash has forced himself over, and the Sea Eagles, capitalising on some slight errors there from the Roosters, go in within the first 4 minutes here, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant work there from the Seagulls, just capitalising on it on a poor error from the Roosters to start this one. Lennox Prakash just driving his way with that Roosters defender right to the line, and you're not stopping him from there unless you get the legs of him, and they certainly don't. A bit of poor Roosters defence mixed with some bad luck leads to the Seagulls taking a 6 point lead here, and the Roosters, they need to sort out early because. If not, I think the Seagulls might run away with this very soon.
Now, as I was saying before, I was very rudely interrupted by Lennox Prakash scoring there. You'll be hearing from me later, Lenny. The Seagulls, they've moved a couple of people around with the supposed departure of Logan Strange, but there's a slight hiccup with that tonight, Liam.
Yeah, there absolutely is. There was a bit of an issue with the paperwork on the debutante's visa, and he wasn't able to participate in tonight's game. There was some kind of issue, and the commission had to decline him, so he's going to have to wait another week. Is Benji Buller, and unfortunately, or not for the Seagulls, it means that Logan Strange is playing another game. I'm sure they'll appreciate having him for this one, and yeah, they'll get Buller next week.
And speaking of debutantes, the Roosters, they'll welcome a debutant of their own, if sitting in number 16, Connor Post, who is replacing the much-loved Dan Blaine. And, oh, there goes another error here. My cuzzy trying to strip the ball out of the Seagulls' hands, and the ref labelling it an illegal ball strip. We've seen a couple of those this round so far, Liam.
Yeah, we're seeing that become a very prevalent thing in the SRL this round, and yeah, the ball strip. I can understand where the Roosters are coming from with that because Yeah, I get they're down 6-0 already, and they've got to take risks, I think, because of the position they're in. And oh, that's a big hit. That's more of what you like to see from the Roosters, smashing Morrison onto his back. But yeah, they've got to take a little bit of a risk, and I can understand it's a 50-50 there, and they just get it a bit wrong, and yeah, it leads to the Seagulls being in brilliant field position. Is Morrison?
Oh, I am absolutely salivating right now. I've just realised the forward lineup we've got against each other tonight. We got Shuck Daddy up against Jesse Bennett, and we got Jordan Lewis up against Liam Schrodinger. Both of these teams, their forward packs are phenomenal, and I think they might. Oh, oh, speak of the devil, Shuck Daddy absolutely flooring Wilson there, Liam.
Yeah, it's brilliant contact from Shaq Daddy. Uh, he had no hesitation in smashing Wilson as soon as he got that ball, and yeah, turning the ball over for the Seagulls. He had no worry about giving away a penalty for a high shot there in that position. It was just absolutely flatten him and not worry about it. As the Roosters, they're struggling a little bit to make some meters here. They might have to utilize the 40-20. Hopefully Dolan can get some good contact here.
Oh, a much better kick there from VC Dolan over Morrison, who has to pivot on a dime and bring it back 35 meters out. They almost pull him over the edge there, but Snicker Bro is able to really face up against his opposition, number one. That's another highlight tonight. Actually, I'm looking at a couple of these matchups, Liam. Snicker Bro against Jacob Morrison. We've got a couple of really strong wingers up against each other. Marcus Square up against Jackson Chapman. This is going to be one hell of a match tonight if both of these teams can stay on top of their errors.
Yeah, it definitely will be. As you said, there's just firepower all over the park. And I think more importantly, when these halves get it on for both sides and don't make errors, I think they've got some great quality behind them too. I think Dolan's a really good half when he doesn't make the kicking mistakes that we've seen. Oh, as we say, Ross Buckley, he's someone we didn't mention, but Ross Buckley's been in brilliant form, and here he goes. He's still running away. Ross Buckley to the 10, and as we were saying, these wingers matchups are huge tonight, and Ross Buckley absolutely steps through and puts the Roosters in great field position.
Oh, I'm still having nightmares of what Ross Buckley did to us Eels 2 rounds back as my Cuzzy forces his way over, and that is both locks in for tonight. And the Roosters hit back powerfully and superbly. It is 4 points to six, about to be 6 all.
Yeah, that's brilliant stuff from Jaeger, my Cuzzy. Doing basically what Lennox Prakash did about 5 minutes ago. And yeah, it's brilliant work from just dragging that defender to the line. Seems like both sides didn't learn from the Roosters conceding. And yeah, that's basically an identical try. And it was brilliant work from Ross Buckley, obviously, making that kick return, making about 70, 80 meters to set up that try. And yeah, it's unfortunate he didn't get to score off it, but he certainly set up Jaegor's try, and Dolan converts to make this game level.
So the home crowd jitters here seem to have worn off the Roosters at the moment, and we are back to level playing field, which will be good for Captain Snicker Bro. The Roosters, they're coming into this game as heavy favourites. At least if you base anything on the betting community. And so the Manly Sea Eagles, they're going to need another crazy match, much like they had last week, if they want to make sure they can keep on top of these Roosters, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the betting market's maybe not a way to go on all of it at the best of times, but yeah, I think the Seagulls, I just need to play to their strengths and like they have been playing so far. This is just what we need to see. Good contact in defence and forcing the Roosters to kick the ball early. I think that's really the way to beat this Roosters side because we know that Dolan and Mann are a bit vulnerable on the boot at the best of times. So if they can get them down in 40-20 range and or not, I think that they'll be feeling pretty confident about their chances.
As a bit of an inside-outside pass goes well for the Roosters. They boot it on down. with a, I'd say a medium range kick there down to Megamind, and he is forced back 35 meters out. We're about to have some prop interchanges in the next 5 minutes, and again, we're going to have some pretty decent matchup there. We got Jones and Askew coming on for the Roosters, and Matthews and Wilmer-Skeed coming on for the Seagulls. So stay tuned for that in about 6 minutes. Reese playing the board just shy of the 50. Morrison steps through and almost gets around my Cuzzy there, but he's brought down desperately on the 40. They're making meters here. Oh, Cody Og almost spills that one. They're making meters, but they're not getting far enough to put in those attacking kicks. So if they can hold down Ross Buckley again this time, or at least for the first time this time, they might be able to win back some field possession here.
Yeah, definitely, and they do certainly that. They learnt from their mistake last time, giving Ross Buckley way too much space. And oh, I thought that pass from dummy half was going no one, but Hugh Mann wasn't really expecting it there, but does well to just get his way forward and make about 10 meters off that one. And yeah, as you were saying, this is what the Seagulls needed: just good defense on Ross Buckley, and maybe they can invite a bit of struggles in the meterage because their forward pack, I think, is struggling to win this field position right now.
As Matthews darts out a dummy half to at least improve it up to 29 meters gained. They're going to have to put another one down the field, and they rely on Hugh Mann this time, who kicks it straight on down. Here comes Goodwin, who gets around the first, can't get around the other. Goodwin's had some patchiness for the last couple of games, but he really turned it on last week, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. Brad Goodwin was certainly in good form last week, and one of the key reasons as to why they were so good last week. And if he can continue that form with his kick returns here tonight, I think the Seagulls will be hard to beat.
As Prakash is forced to play at 45 meters out for his fourth. They come wide. They've got the entire field to work with, but Morrison, he's forced back by Shaq Dadir, who will be going off the field in a couple of minutes for a well-earned rest. As Kenneth Wall, I would say I'm almost willing to bet that Kenneth Wall, even though Manly has been struggling for form all season, Kenneth Wall, he's been one of the best halves all season, both in the meterage that he gets down the field and also in his accuracy, Liam.
Yeah, Kenneth Ward's been brilliant from what I've seen in our Manly games. He's just always so accurate off that boot, isn't he? Meterage wise, he's always able to just get a good contact off the ball, and that's something that most halves are struggling with right now. And I'm not sure what it is, but about kind of Wall's contact, but he's just doing it so well. And when you're able to add on his meterage in a run game, I think that's just what makes him such a good halve. And it's Manly is so lucky to have him. If he was on a great side, I think he'd get a lot more praise.
As Goodwin returns the ball again and almost gets around, but some good defensive set there from the Roosters. Looks like they're going to try to pin them down. Prakash, long pass out to Captain Lewis. Or Lewis pushing up to the 20. Dart out of dummy half by Wilson. Wilson has been playing well so far tonight, and hopefully, well, hasn't going to have the injuries that we've seen from a couple of others this week. Fourth tackle on the other side of the 30. Off go the props. On come the benchies. Hunter, lovely pass to Reese, who tries to get through but can only get down to the 40. So the Roosters, they're slowly ramping up the pressure here. And, well, Prakash has to take the kick because he's the lock and he was the only one in position to do it. Buckley almost gets through, and the Roosters, with a good push, they should be in excellent field position for an attacking kick at the end of this one, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. That was better there from the Roosters. It was better defensive work, as you mentioned. I think that's the key for them. If they can do exactly what I said the Seagulls need to do, I think that they'll certainly make the meterage, and it gives Ross Buckley more time and space, or Jackson Chapman for that matter, if they're silly enough to kick it down to his wing. I think it just gives them more time and space to be able to wreak havoc on this Manly defence, and it's allowing them to get in field position like this. We might see the Grower from Dolan and see Snicko Brower try and get his way through. Oh, it was pretty close there.
Yeah, there were inches in that one, and if Kenneth Wall hadn't been already angling for it, Snicko Bro had a good chance of getting in under the sticks there. They're getting some meterage here. They're getting up to the 30, but they're not going as far as they really want to, Manly. Wilson darts out a dummy half to get up to the 40, put them in position for a 40-20 kick. No, held in tackle. That is a fourth tackle penalty, and that is a dagger if you are a captain when that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. That's got to hurt if you Snicko. He wouldn't be happy about that. Just that's just simple discipline, and it really is a captain killer because and now they concede a high tackle, two consecutive penalties in two players. It's pretty poor from the Roosters discipline wise. Uh, yeah, Snicko's gonna have to get on his boys about that one because otherwise if they concede another, they might be having a man the bin or at least getting warned about it.
Yep. And as we saw in a game earlier in the week, there was a sin bin that came without warning. So the refs, it looks like they might be cracking down on some of this foul play. Kenneth Wall, 15 meters out. Lovely dart out dummy half there for Wilson, but he's met with some desperate defense. Third tackle, 3 left in the set. They go blind. And a step around for Strange, and Strange is over. The man who was supposed to retire and had to fill in the boots has got himself one more try to add to his tally.
Yeah, this is brilliant work from Logan Strange in his last ever game as a Seagull and maybe in the SRL entirely. Well, it certainly looks that way. He's retiring, and it was brilliant work from him, just stepping around his opposite centre there and getting himself in for a try on his last ever game. That's special stuff from Logan. Uh, well done, mate, because you deserve retirement. And unfortunately, Hunter misses the kick. Makes it 10-6, but nonetheless, Manly will be happy with that because taking the lead against the Roosters with 15 to go is certainly not a bad thing.
I don't know where Hunter was running. It looked like he was already taking himself off the field into the dressing room, so I'll have to make sure that he's decided to stay out on the field as Dolan lines up to kick it on down. I think from the looks of things, Snicko was looking around to make sure it actually was. Um, Interesting out there. Interesting atmosphere out here at Allianz as Dolan boots it on the way down. And here comes Hunter. Yep, no, he's decided to stay out on the field, Hunter has, and he's pushed him up to the 20. We've got about 14 minutes left until we get to the halftime break, Liam. It's not really pressure stations for either of these teams, but what do you think Captain Lewis would be telling his boys when they start working towards the halftime siren there?
Oh, look, I think that he'd just say maintain. Oh, six again here. He'd just say maintain that pressure that they've had all half, especially in defence. I think that's the biggest thing for them. If they can maintain the pressure in defence and keep the Roosters down their own end 30, 40 metre line and make them kick from that vicinity, I think it's going to be very hard for them. Defensively is the most important thing right now, and they're doing it very well. If they can just maintain that, or at least be very close to that level, I think the Roosters will find it very hard in this game. But I guess things will swing at some point, and they just need to find a way to, I guess, uh, salvage that without conceding.
As Prakash hits the line quickly and he leaves it way too late to dink that one in. It bounces off the legs and Maikazi picks it up. On the other side of things, that was a risky offload, and Matthews absolutely nails that defender who decides to walk the other way before he pushes it back. It's been interesting to watch some of the darts from dummy half here because Snicko's getting into it now, and the Roosters, they're definitely capitalizing on that really bad marker defense there, Liam.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's certainly a way that they're managing to make some meters right now. Oh, Ross Barkley gets absolutely hammered in off this. I think it was the center or the edge there, just coming in and flattening Mr. Barkley. And yeah, but God, I think that Roosters, they are certainly. Oh, there's a bit of an error on the last tackle, but as you said, they're taking advantage of this marker defense for Manly, and it's certainly something they probably will want to fix up before halftime, or if not, up before after the break.
As Hunter receives the ball way back in the pocket to push up 35 meters out for their second. We're about to have 10 minutes left in the half, and it is still 10 points to 6. Matthews pushing up over the 40. Third tackle, some good meterage so far here from the Sea Eagles as Kenneth Wall links up with Og. Og hasn't touched the ball much so far tonight. He's been focused mostly on defence. And if they can get him out into the open, that will go a long way to ticking up the score just a tad as Morrison links up with Square Jr., who brings it down just shy of the 40 with 34 metres gained. Not a bad set there for Manly. Except for how that ended. And Matthews is streaming off and away. Shut the gate. No one is stopping him, and that is horrifying if you're a Manly fan, Liam.
Oh God, is it what? That's just it's just not good enough there from Manly. Just kicking it into your own block player, and well, I get for a half perspective, it's a bit annoying, but at the end of the day, you just got to not kick it into your blocker. And yeah, I didn't catch who it was, Hunter or Kenneth War, but I believe it was Hunter, and he's just got to not kick it into his blocker. Just get out of the way, your prop, because it's not worth it being able to have a blocker there. And yeah, they pay the price with Drew Matthews having some brilliant work there, picking the loose ball up and running about 50 metres to score. The Roosters, they'll certainly take the lead there with Dolan converting. And while it's poor work from Manly, the Roosters, they certainly won't say no to having an extra 6 points on the scoreboard.
As Hunter, 8 minutes left, boots it off down the field, and for Hunter's sake, hopefully it's not a misconversion that decides the game by the end of it. Dolan is met there well in the first hit up, planted there 15 metres out. They go wide. Gooch linking up with Bro, who sneaks on through again. It looks like Bro has been able to unlock himself, and he has had quite a couple of runs so far. He hasn't scored yet, but the way he's going, Liam, it looks like he might be getting back to the form he showed at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Snicko's been good, particularly as we said from dummy half, and it's better to see him just in and around the play, poking himself in between holes and in general play rather than just the dummy half because it's exciting when he touches the ball and you always want him in space because he's electric when he gets into that space.
Oh, and the Roosters do a Manly special, but thankfully the Roosters are able to jump on not the loose ball so much, but the defender who grabbed it. And well, 6 minutes left. It could be danger stations here for the Roosters. Windmill Skeed plays the ball and they go blind. Marcus Squared tries to get through and he's forced down. Third tackle just shy of the 30. They go wide. They go wide very slow. That was a line ball. I think they're lucky to get away with that one as Cody Ogg plays it just shy of the 30. Sea Eagles, I think they're a little bit surprised they've got the ball at the moment, Liam, because they did not use that set the way they should have.
Yeah, they're a bit shell shocked, aren't they? They did not make the meterage that you'd expect from a side there, and that bomb was really subpar. Kicked down to Chapman. At least they didn't let him come down with that and make a step there, but that was about the only good thing they did set that set. And the Roosters, I'll certainly be happy with that defense, and it's a good hold there from them to halt the Manly side without making too many meters, and never really looked like scoring, did they?
No, and I think they'll definitely be hoping to get into the halftime break and get some air back in the lungs as Matthews does another massive dart out dummy half to get at least over the 40 and put themselves in a bit of a better position for a yardage kick. Human boots it all the way down here. Here comes Goodwin once more, who gets around one but is piggybacked down 3 minutes out. That's probably going to be it in terms of scoring opportunities until Morrison breaks on down the field and Snickerbro has to stop him. The Sea Eagles, they must have heard us up in the box, Liam, because they are breaking out all the stocks to put this set into a much better position.
Yeah, they definitely are. The classic commentators curse. They absolutely love to uh, curse us up in the box, and but then again, it's been this set looks like it's been halted. They'll probably have an attacking kick though inside the 20. They might look to the grubber here. Uh, no, it probably looks like a bomb shape here. Oh no, I might be wrong again. Oh, they grubbered it, but it results in nothing because it goes knock on, and yeah, the Roosters, they come up with it, and that will probably be it for the halftime for attacking chances before the halftime break.
Yeah, we got a couple of forwards coming on and off. Schrodinger takes a hit up straight back on the field with 1 minute left to spare. Very slow to play the ball there. The Manly laying around in the ruck just a little bit too much. Daddy pushes up to the 40. We go wide. Lopez. Lopez has had a good night. Good post-contact meters there from Pepe. And well, they got one more to go before a kicking opportunity. And Schrodinger is forced back. So they'll kick one down. And what the Roosters really need to make sure is that they don't let the Seagulls stream off for an under the sticks try. Because as hilarious fun as that might be to watch as a neutral, that is not nice to watch on the field. We'll see you after the break. And welcome back here to Allianz Stadium, where we have one hell of a tight matchup between the Sydney Roosters and the Manly Sea Eagles. The Roosters, they only lead by 2 points, and, well, suffice it to say, most of the points scored in that first half, Liam, were off errors from either team from the looks of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Being up in the stats box at half time, I certainly learn a bit from these stats, and that's one of the key findings in this game. Obviously, both sides of two tries. The conversions costing Manly so far, and the possession though. Interestingly enough, the Seagulls have had the better share of it, 57 to 43, uh, and completions weren't too much different. Manly had four more. Errors wise, the Roosters made three more errors, and that cost them on the scoreboard a bit. Yet they're still leading. Though the penalties, three penalties conceded by the Roosters as well. They have certainly not been good with their discipline. Oh, that's not a good kick from Hunter as we see him try a 40-20. I thought he nailed it for a second, but he's just overshot that one. And back on the stats, the Roosters, again, they had 20 more tackles in that first half. We barely missed that, Hunter. And they had seven more missed tackles in that first half. But they also had two more line breaks. Illegal ball strip there, as we say, a captain's challenge.
Oh,
Checking if the ball is stripped legally.
Beck Goodwin stealing it from debutant Connor Post. It'll be interesting what they say sending this up. There's lots of Seagulls crowding around it.
The ball is stripped legally.
We got a successful captain's challenge to interrupt us there, Liam. That was a good call there from the Seagulls.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was going to say, if they didn't call that successful, I'm not sure what the bunker's saying because that was definitely one-on-one. And unfortunately for the debutant, he's got to have better ball security than that. But as I was saying with the meterage, the Roosters, they had more meters in that first half by about, it wasn't much, by about 50. And some individual contributors for the Roosters. Obviously, Ross Buckley had that huge kick return and 112 meters that first half. Drew Matthews at dummy half, he was very impressive. He obviously got subbed off at halftime, 177 run meters with that try, and on contrast for Manly, Aaron Hunter led them in meters, 98 meters in that first half. He was pretty good in that number six position and on seven, sorry, and yeah, they'll be looking to improve on that Manly and the stats wise.
As that was a good end of the set there for the Seagulls. They're pinning the Roosters down here in their half. Connor Post, again, he takes another run. That's a good second run there for the debutant. Some good post-contact meters. Keep going. McCuzzy, lovely ball line there to Pepe Lopez, who gets up to the 40, and we have 40-20 opportunity here. Dolan, that's a good boot off the ball there. Does it have the legs to it? It does, and it looks like the Roosters have come out to play the second half here, Liam.
Yeah, they definitely have. Maybe I cursed Dolan earlier in this one, saying they should try and target Dolan the 40-20s, and he's absolutely nailed that one. I'm eating my words right now. Dolan, that was an incredible kick. Oh, and that's a great ball to Pepe Lopez. Pepe Lopez steaming. Oh, you might have got there, but just short there.
And there we go. The vice captain is in. He's made up for some of the errors he had in the first half. And, well, depending on how they kick it over this one, the Roosters, they might find themselves 8 points in front, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. This is brilliant work from Justin Dolan. Obviously, set them up with that 40-20 down the left-hand touchline, and and scores a try there. I think he was the one to pass it to Pepe Lopez and orchestrated them 1 meter out, and then he takes the ball and goes for a run, and Dolan he's over and looking to convert his own try. He certainly does that. The Roosters are out to an 18 points to 10 lead, and Snicko will certainly be stoked with that lead as it's arguably the best I've seen them play over the last few weeks. Even though of all the errors and penalties conceded, they are still absolutely dominating here.
Yeah, we're getting to that point in the season where a couple of teams, they've had some people come in and out, which is not ideal, but those combinations are really being cemented. And this is the point in the season where a team who might not have had the best luck so far can really ramp up those final push for the finals. As Connor Post, another good run there from the number 17. Brev, the other Brev brother, focuses up over the 30-second tackle. 33 minutes left in the half. Not danger signs so far for Manly, but they need to get the lead on and fight for this win. As Gooch goes for one ginormous run there and gets across the 50. The Roosters, they've got a bit of life in them now, and they're in the half as Shaq Daddy. I don't think that was meant for Shaq Daddy, but he grabs it and he is buried 45 meters out. Slows it down just a little bit as Mike Hussey is forced to take it up to the 40. And a good set after points there for the Roosters, Liam.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff there. Just getting to your kick on that after points is always vital, and they certainly did that to a T there. As it wasn't the greatest kick from Dolan, but what was more important was the defence. They didn't let the winger there just get through out, and yeah, they're doing a good job so far, holding Manly to their 30 so far. If they can hold them inside their half, I'm sure they'll be happy with that.
Oh, we say it wasn't a good kick there for Dolan. I think he had Shaq Daddy blocking him in the middle. So when you've got no idea what's happening down the other end of the field because you've got a big lump in front of you, there's a little surprise he was actually able to get it off the boot there as Lewis gets just shy of the 40 for their fifth. We're in this middle of the field here with the arm wrestle, and Hunter gets it around his blocker. Lovely kick down there for Chapman, who, well, let's just say he didn't have the biggest impact in the first half there, Liam.
Yeah, he definitely didn't, but I don't blame him either. He hadn't had much of the ball in the first half, had he? Maybe I reckon he had 3 runs at max because, yeah, only 1 meter, and they just weren't kicking it down to him. And I understand why, because when Chapman gets early ball, you just are going to struggle to stop him. That's the matter of it. They're stopping him right there. Might be holding to touch. Apparently, Chapman is easy to stop if you get up on him early like that. And Seagulls, they're absolutely riding a bit of a key print on how to stop this game-changing winger.
And unfortunately, Dolan kind of puts a little chip kick over the head to the defenders, and it doesn't really work out for the Chasers as Goodwin pushes up to the 40. They're already in their half on the second, dancing down the sideline, but Goodwin is pushed back, and somehow those legs do not go over the sideline, which is a little bit of a small favor there, as Goodwin again pushes forward up over the 30. Goodwin and Goodwin action, fourth tackle. Very slow play the ball there as Kennedy Wall hooks up with Strange, who again is pushed back, and the Roosters, they are defiant on their line, forcing a kick way down. Here comes Chapman once more, who gets around first and does a great run off down the line. As he can stay in, he does. A good set there from the Roosters, but time is slowly running out here for Manly, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly not anywhere near over just yet, but I think they'll need to start thinking about how they can penetrate this Roosters line a little bit better, particularly when they get down inside this 30. I think they've struggled a little bit. It's just what they're looking for. I think that's what the area they've struggled, because whenever they get down to the red zone, I just don't know if they have an answer to this Roosters defense. They seem to get halted, and Morrison might be the answer. No, he's a good Roosters defense, stops him after the first line, and yeah, as I was saying, they've just got to work out an answer for that red zone, because the Roosters are doing a good job.
Sasa. Oh, that was a risky ball there from Stuart to Morrison. He picks it up and somehow makes something of it to be short of the 50. Stewart takes another run to get them over the 50. They need another good run, but as you say, they're struggling to penetrate that line, though, especially when they're making offloads into the wrong team there, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. I get what they were trying to do there. It's a bit of you've just got to throw the ball around a little bit more when you're down 8 points on the scoreboard. And as we mentioned, scoreboard pressure can get to you, and once it does, it invites errors. If you don't get it right, you're going to make an error. It's as simple as that. And unfortunately for the Seagulls, they did. And Roosters, they're not really making huge inroads here, but with a good run here, they might be able to have an attacking kick.
Markazi does just that, but he's brought down just shy of the 30. Shoots it back in the pocket there for Dolan, who, again, he's kicking it maybe about 5 or 10 meters short of where he really should have it. Marcus Square runs onto it and makes up some good post-contact meters. We've got about 22 minutes left in the game, 2 minutes until we have some interchanges coming back in off the field, and I'm not really sure which side is going to be more benefited by those changes in 2 minutes there, Liam.
Well, looking at who's coming on, it should be for the Roosters coming back is Drew Matthews, who obviously was huge in that dummy half role in that first half, and Hugh Mann coming back on it in the middle. I think that's good for the Roosters. Whereas you see for Manly, it should be the likes of. If my maths is correct, I think it should be James Reese coming on, along with the likes of Bailey Wilson, who should come back on in that middle role. I think that the Roosters should have that edge, but anything can happen because I guess they're both backs, and in that nature, I think that either side could benefit hugely from having some fresh legs inside that middle.
Well, as we said that, just another error there from the Manly Sea Eagles, an illegal ball strip, which looked a little line ball. They could have challenged that, but they've held on to their challenge because there is still 20 minutes left in this game. Makazi takes up the first, and they get just shy of the 50. Rev takes a good hit up. He needs to go harder, though, because I've got him in my fantasy team, and, well, let's just say that his halftime points weren't necessarily something that was going to get me across the line. Hogan plays the ball over the 40. Connor Post, he's had a good hit out for a debutant and will earn himself a nice little rest very, very shortly. Brev takes another run, the other Brev brother that is. And, well, they had a penalty, piggyback them up the field. Whether or not they can keep the Sea Eagles down here now will depend on whether or not this kick chase, it does. It goes off without a hitch. And now the Sea Eagles, they're fighting out of their 10 here, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. It was much better there from the kickers there. I'm not sure if that was the likes of Dolan or what, but if it was Dolan, well done, because that was a much better kick, and it was definitely what they were looking for, because they pinned Square right in without giving him a head start, and Manly, as you mentioned, they've absolutely trapped them. They might have to go for a 20-40 here.
Oh, speak of the devil, Kenneth Wall, he shapes the boot up. It's got the bounce to it. It just doesn't have the legs, and Ross Buckley is put over the sideline. That is phenomenal work there from the Sea Eagles. And, well, the Roosters, they need to watch out because this has the feeling of a bit of a rout here, Liam.
Yeah, it definitely does. It was brilliant defensive work. I believe it was Brad Goodwin out there who just absolutely came down on Ross Buckley and said, "Hey, mate, you're not staying in here. I'm just going to show you the sideline and lift you up and take you over," because I feel like the Seagulls, they are not done yet, and they have something to prove here, and they're already in the red zone. It's just if they can take this chance here, you'll give them every chance, because 17 minutes to go. If they can get a try here, and they'll be within 2 points, and can't write them off with that smaller deficit.
Goodwin playing the ball. Kenneth Wall just taking a bit of a settler, which means he is not going to be kicking. They're going to be relying on Hunter. And no, they rely on Strange, who puts it high and laterally. No tap back for Cody Ogg. He doesn't need it. He grabs the ball, puts it down, and my goodness, Liam, this is possibly about to be a 2-point ball game.
Yes, that is a brilliant kick there from Logan Strange. He's winding it back to his commissioner days, where he had the power to do whatever he wanted, and he certainly has the power to do whatever he wants tonight because he is absolutely dominating this game in his final game of his SRL career in SRL 2.1. And Logan Strange, it was a brilliant kick and obviously a brilliant take there from Manly. And Aaron Hunter, he misses the conversion. He drags it a little bit to the right, and he'll be a little bit disappointed with that one. He's missed 2 conversions tonight. I hope that's not the difference for him for his stake, because Manly will look back on that and they lose this and wonder what could have been.
Yeah, unfortunately, it would be 18 all at the moment, bar those slight errors. And, well, I wouldn't put it past the Sydney Roosters to have some industrial fans high up in those altitudes to play around with that sort of thing. But, well, I digress. I come from a team that doesn't pay in paper bags. Morrison gets up over the 15 minutes left in this match. Who do the Seagulls need to give it to get across and get those 6 extra points there, Liam?
Well, I think at least for me to originate, to get it to Jacob Morrison. He's been electric every time you get him early ball around here, and it looks like that's what they're doing. Well, the Roosters do a good job, and I think they saw that coming. But yeah, just I think an outside back. To be honest, that's the way that they've been going. As Logan Strange makes some good meters there, so they obviously are thinking similarly to me.
Oh, and that looks like another Kenneth War spectacular there. 40-20 from the number 6. Like I said it earlier in the game, Liam. I think Kenneth War has probably got one of the best boots on him at the moment in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a brilliant kick again from Kenneth Wall. The number 6 delivers what the Seagulls need. Thought Strange was about to be in for a double, but yeah, the Seagulls, they have a brilliant chance again in the Roosters' red zone.
Oh, and Wilson almost gets over. It looked like for all and money he was going to force his way over, but a very desperate Rooster helps his captain get around the legs. And I think for their safety, they did help Snicko get around those legs there. So it goes back as a nose try. They'll bring it out 10. And, well, the Seagulls, they're going to have 4 more tackles to play with here to see if the Roosters can hold them out. They don't need to. Shaq Daddy just gobbles up that ball, and the Roosters, they survive one hell of a scare on their line, Liam.
Yeah, it's brilliant work from Shaq Daddy. He just ripped that ball out. I know it's a 50-50 play, but it's absolutely what you want to see from your key players there. Just taking that chance and hoping it pays off, and he did it to perfection. And Snicko, thought Snicko was in space there. We haven't seen too much of Snicko, have we, in this second half? I'd like to see a little bit more in this final 11 minutes if the Roosters are able to get over the line here.
As Connor Post plays the ball. Jack Daddy must be filling in lock at the moment because he's booted on down, and it's not a terrible kick, but it's serviceable enough as Goodwin makes a good return. 11 minutes left, and the clock is ticking. Kenneth War links up with Bennett, the teacher, who pushes forward 40 meters. Second tackle. Sasa, Kenneth War, Strange, who's had phenomenal game tonight. Normally we talk about the second rowers. The second rowers have been fairly quiet compared to what Strange has been able to do over in centre there, Liam.
Yeah, he definitely has been. Strange. He's having, as I mentioned earlier, he's having a bit of a legacy game here tonight in his final game for the Seagulls. And yeah, I think the Seagulls have adjusted their tactics there. They've just said, give the ball to Logan Strange and see what he can do out in the centres.
And there's my boy Brev picking up an errant ball as Buckley is absolutely rocked. I think that's about the 3rd or 4th shoulder that Buckley's had to cop tonight, and he's definitely going to need the ice bath in exactly 9.5 minutes. Brev gets up over the 50, 4th tackle. Good post-contact meters. They need a good run here, and Hogan darts out a dummy half to give them half a good run to get up to the 30. 9 minutes left, and this arm wrestle shows no sign of abating. I fear for both of these captains because it looks like it's going to have to come off either a forced error or an unforced error or a line break, just like what Goodwin's done there, Liam.
Yeah, you're certainly not wrong there. I think it will be off a piece of magic or and some kind of error that turns into some kind of magic. Yeah, but I just hope it's not too huge an error that gives the other side a victory here today. I just hope it's off some good pace of play, and whoever wins deserves it.
As Reese not just folds two, but folds the biggest boy out there and keeps on running. Hunter, speculator, Marcus Square Jr. breaks up down the sideline and he gets around and he is over. Speak of the magic. Snicko Bro almost had him and Marcus Square gets around and, well, maybe, just maybe, the Sea Eagles will be able to be 2 points ahead at the end of this kick, Liam.
Yeah, if Hunter can convert this, you would think he could convert from here. But yeah, it's just brilliant work from Marcus Square Jr. down the wing. Uh, does a brilliant job getting around and Dolan on the edge of Dolan and on the outside of him, and a bit of miscommunication from Dolan and Snicko, bro. They both went at the ankles of Marcus Square Jr. and Hunter. We mentioned if he could convert this, and he did that for once and puts the Seagulls ahead here, 20 points to 18. But as I mentioned, it was a miscommunication between Dolan and Snicko, bro. They both went at the ankles, and that was what cost them there because if one of them went up high, I think they would have had a better chance at stopping Square there and stopping his momentum, putting him into ground. But yeah, they've still got 6 minutes here, and I'm certainly not writing them off just yet.
No, and as we know, and as well, unfortunately for myself at least, we know when the Roosters came up against the Eels, they can definitely put points on quickly if they get the opportunity. As Morrison is forced back fiercely there by some rushing defence. Snicko Bro is shouting orders up the back, and his boys know exactly what side the bread is buttered. As James Reese pushes to the 30. Very slow play the ball there as they try desperately to work their way out of their half. This was probably a 40-20 position here. They need to nail this kick because they can't give the Roosters anything. As Kenneth War aims for another one, and it just doesn't have the length for it that time. So a bit unlucky there for the Sea Eagles, but that is a big chunk of field that they've just made up there, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned earlier, Kenneth Wall, I just can't remember a time he's even shanked it. Like that's a bad kick for Kenneth Wall. Like by his standards, that's a bad kick, and that just speaks volumes on how good of a kicker he is. Like has done a brilliant job with his boots tonight, and it's one of the reasons Manly are ahead right now.
As Drew Matthews links up with Hugh Mann, pushing forward, getting to the 40. They've got 4 minutes left, and they've got plenty of time if they can capitalise on it. Hogan, push down, 45 metres out for his third. Snicko Bro decides not to run it, and probably a good move there. They haven't had too many of those wasteful dummy half moves tonight, and it is showing. Lopez, Dolan, back on the inside to Shaq. Shaq kind of wasted a little bit, and now they're going to have to rely on a good kick and a good kick chase because at the end of this one, they've probably only really got about 1.5 sets left to go. Goodwin gets around the first, gets around the second, and shut the gate. This is it. The blockers have come in. The Sea Eagles are going to win this one, and they're going to win this one convincingly, Liam.
Yes, they are. Brad Goodwin there. That's a brilliant kick return. Putting this one to bed, and he steps around two of those Roosters defenders in the backfield and makes Snicko Bro miss, and he's off to the races with absolute ease. Brad Goodwin, that's brilliant work from the Manly winger, and yeah, the Manly, they'll be certainly impressed by this. As you mentioned earlier, they were a bit of outsiders by the SRL betting markets this week, and they'll be certainly impressed to get a win here because that does absolutely huge stuff for their finals chances. Because as you mentioned, they have a good for and against, and I think that might lead them above the Roosters if my maths is correct.
Well, it leaps them above the Roosters and the Panthers and the Bulldogs and half a dozen teams. So they go from third last to about, just knocking on the door of the top 8 there. So a couple more good games here from the Manly Sea Eagles, and we could have some smokies for the top 8, Liam.
Yeah, they've played well tonight, haven't they? Particularly on this comeback. I mean, they were down 10 points to 18, and they've absolutely shut down the Roosters ever since. They were 16 points unanswered. Even with the poor goal kicking tonight, they're still up 8 points. Like they should, with two reasonable kicks from Hunter, they'd be up what 14 points here. No, 12 points here. Excuse my maths. Apparently, I cannot do maths on a late evening tonight.
As we're winding down to the last 30 seconds or so, they get to the 40. They won't need to get too much further. They will go home victors despite another bit of a dodgy kick there. Dolan leaps up and grabs it. So unless they can stream off down the sideline here, they stream off over the sideline. And, well, again, that about sums up the night here for the Roosters. They've had all the heart. They've had all the effort. And unfortunately, a little bit of brilliance here from the Manly Sea Eagles was enough to get across the line and give themselves the victory. So that is the end of the game. The Sea Eagles, that it makes it 2 in a row, 2 on the trot, and they are looking in fantastic form heading into the back end of this season. Liam.
Yes, they are. They are been dominant so far the last couple of weeks here, and obviously back-to-back wins, and they were brilliant in this second half. Obviously on the comeback, scoring 3 tries in the final 20 minutes. As we take you through some of these team stats, obviously 5 tries to 3 in the end, with 58% possession compared to 42 for the Roosters, and that remained fairly the same to half time. Interestingly, it went more up towards the Seagulls. 27 out of 31 compared to 21 out of 26 for Roosters. It's still reasonably similar completion rates. 8 errors to 6. So the Roosters, they took the errors down a little bit, and the Seagulls, they made more errors in that second half than they did in the first half, interestingly enough, but didn't matter too much. And they conceded a penalty in that second half, whereas the Roosters didn't. Tackling wise, the Roosters, they still had a hefty amount more of tackles, about 35 more tackles in that game, and they had made 11 more missed tackles, which proved reasonably costly for them. And the Seagulls, they ended up getting more line breaks in that second half, with 10 in total. And meterage wise, they absolutely dominated that second half. Made about 600 meters in that second half compared to the Roosters, who only made about 380 odd. So, yeah, very good effort from the Seagulls in that second half.
As we come across to some individual stats. Now, the Roosters, they were leading the run meters in the first half, and unfortunately, they had the brakes put on them by some serious defence. We'll start with Dolan there, 124 run meters. A mixed night off the boot. He had a couple of good kicks and a couple of stinkers, unfortunately, but he made up for it with a try and some 40-20s and a solid conversion attempt. So it's not all bad there from the vice captain. And it takes a while before we get to our next 100. We go down to Ross Buckley there, who, well, probably I would almost say probably the best Rooster out there on field over at winger at 142 run meters, 5 tackles, a couple of line breaks, but not as impactful in the second half as the first, Liam.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about the Roosters' performance tonight. If he was your the best Rooster out in the field, because outside of that one run, he didn't do a lot, did he, Amac? And Snicko, bro, looking down 101 meters. Yeah, he didn't do a hell of a lot tonight either. These Roosters outside backs, they were held in check tonight, with Chapman only 37 run meters. Yeah, that's really quiet for a back three that's really impactful usually. As we look down at Mike Hudley, he had a solid go tonight, 108 meters at lock, and he's 66 minutes. He had a kick for 48 meters. Had the try, obviously. Drew Matthews, he was pretty impressive tonight, though. I think maybe he'd my pick for the best Rooster. He was huge in that first half. 198 meters in total tonight. He had the 2 line breaks, 2 tackle breaks, 22 tackles. We'll ignore the missed tackles. And he had the try assist as well. So really good effort from Drew Matthews tonight.
And let's come across to our victors of the night, the Manly Sea Eagles. this is definitely going to be an improvement. That is a lot more hundreds on that list. And I'll start with a couple and then I'll throw them over to you, Liam. Aaron Hunter and Kenneth Wall, both excellent halves partners tonight, 153 and 159 respectively. Some decent tackling from both of them. Some excellent kick meterage from both of them. Without those two out there, there is no chance the Seagulls get anywhere near this Roosters pack, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. They were huge tonight, weren't they? And as you mentioned, that was the key difference, I think, tonight. As we look down, Morrison, he was okay tonight. Probably won the fullback battle, 149 meters. Made his tackles. He had the 3 line breaks, set up a try. He was really solid tonight, I think, Morrison. He just did his job. So we look down to see another 100-meter player in Marcus Square, 121 out on the wing. He had 5 tackles, the 1 line break, had the try, obviously. I thought he was really solid, particularly late in the game. As we look down, Brad Goodwin, what a night he had, though. 290 meters. He was the difference. Obviously, that big run at the end, 2 line breaks, and a try. Uh, Now we scroll down and see another good one, Beck Goodwin, 151 meters tonight, out in the back row. That's probably her best game I've seen her play this season. 15 tackles, uh, no tries, obviously, but just a lot of meters and a really good effort. As Logan Strange, only 40 meters. Apparently, I thought it would have been more than that, to be honest. I thought Logan played really well in his farewell game for the Seagulls. He obviously had the try, assist, and a try. I think he's been a bit hard done by the statisticians tonight, mate?
Yeah, that's definitely not the impact we both felt. I mean, he had a line break and a kick for 7 meters, a try assist. He's filling in something in all of those columns, but a much bigger impact from the eye test than he is from the stats test. Now, both of these teams, they're on 8 competition points each, moving into the final 5 games of the round. The Roosters, they're not going to have a fun game, or at least an easy game next week. They are up against the New Zealand Warriors. The Manly Sea Eagles, they're up against the Brisbane Broncos. So both important games for these two teams. I've been AMAC in the box, and Liam Ryan has been joining me. Enjoy the rest of your evening.